everybody here has done some great work and some hard work these past 19 months. It's not easy every day coming here to lift the load that we lift, to do the work that we do. Our students, our families, our community is challenged in many ways, and there are struggles. And we do everything we can to support them in the best way we know how. I sent out an email earlier in the week suggesting that we have to stop working so hard and start working a little bit smarter. And that doesn't really make any sense, because I think we all believe that we have been working hard and smart all this time. So I didn't want to say that you're not working smart or that we're not working smart. But really we need to define what it is that we have to do that will allow us to work smarter than we've been working. And I think the critical piece to get there will be focusing or refocusing our priorities. In the brief that I sent out earlier, I think it was on Wednesday evening after the meeting with the superintendent, I talked about a couple of the things that we were doing that we needed to improve on. She had since sent a formalized email with a detailed debrief, and I'll share it with you bit by bit as we start to address those issues concretely. But I wanted to talk about some of the items and what it's going to mean for us in the coming days, and I thought this might be the easiest way to do it. We don't have a faculty conference for a few more weeks, but I think it's something that we need to begin to focus on and reorient ourselves towards a slightly different way of working and thinking. A big piece of her recommendations were built around the professional development activities that we engage in and how it's connected to the work we're doing. So we'll be putting together a formalized, differentiated professional development plan to connect with the observation cycles and with the goals and expectations of the school. So this way we have PD supporting teachers where we've identified the needs for each of those specific teachers. And then in a broader sense, looking at the observations as it connects to the PD cycles and in patterns that are occurring throughout the building. And one of the things that she suggested is that we put groups or teams of teachers together to talk about, do some book studies or some author studies on people like Wes Moore, Paul Tough, Carol Dweck, people who we looked at Paul Tough last year when we talked about how children succeed, but go a little bit deeper in trying to build those ideas around grit, around perseverance, and what kind of explicit instruction we need to incorporate in our classrooms, but also how we can be more consistent about the message that we're bringing to our students so that they understand what that perseverance really means. The last piece, and the one that's probably going to be most critical for us, and probably the biggest effort and the biggest switch, is around lesson and unit planning in math. I know that I did not suggest that math be a priority at this point, as we are continuing to develop and refine our ELA work throughout the entire school and build it for the first time in grade 3. But in the classrooms that we visited last week, most of the lessons that we saw were math lessons, and unfortunately what happened in those math lessons, a number of teachers were unable to reach all the students and fully engage all the students because there wasn't the highest level of expectation as to what the ultimate goal of that lesson was. And I think we've achieved that, and we've been very successful with making the lessons fully engaging in ELA for all our students, because with those level 4 DLK questions and activities that we're incorporating into those lessons, we are making the lesson very demanding, very rigorous, because we're reaching for that highest level all the time. And I don't believe we have that same level of expectation, that same level of rigor in math. So in the coming days, I'll be meeting again with Charmaine Luke, discussing with her some of the work that we need to do to get our students and our staff up to speed with building lessons and units, as well as setting up maps in our math work, so that this way we're reaching all our students and getting them to push themselves to the highest level. Again, the last piece that she addressed, and going back to the PD cycle, was engagement through positive behavior and developing this idea of grit. One of the things I shared early out, and it's a quote that I live by, is, genius is 99% inspiration and I'm sorry, 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration. And I think if we have our priorities right, the hard work will continue to be very fruitful for us, but we just have to make sure we're focusing on the right pieces. Thank you, and I'm going to try to connect more regularly with direct video instead of going with the TED Talks all the time. I think I will be sharing the inspiring pieces that I find, but I think more direct communication might make it a little bit easier for us to move forward together. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day.